How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of, brewery I haven't had anything for quite some time. That be Bissel Brothers Brewing. It is their Oi. Yeah, this is their Nitro Pub Ale, coming in at 4.5% alcohol by volume. It says this beer has been dosed with liquid nitrogen to create the creamy head and smooth drinkability of a proper British pint. Please shake the can gently and pour top down into a clean shaker or nonic pint glass. Take a moment to appreciate the bubble cascade and enjoy. I think we're good to go here. And this was canned on the 8th of January, my sister's birthday, actually. And this comes courtesy of Bissel Brothers. They reached out. I gotta shake it, I forgot. Reached out not too long ago. They're like, hey man, dig the reviews. We'd like to send you some beers off in appreciation. Not like, hey, would you review beers? They're just like, we want to send you off a box. And they sent me off a box of pretty damn tasty beers. It kind of got me a little bit sad, because it reminded me of all of the beer that I've missed this year. I don't think this is 16 ounces. We're just going to pour it like we should anyway. How about that? Hate to waste beer, but I should have brought a bigger glass, shouldn't I? Anyway, that's how you fuck shit up right there. Right out of the chute. God damn it, because you got to pour the whole thing and do that beautiful cascading thing on there. And if you stop halfway through, I feel like I'm cheating you guys out of some real pours here. And that was not a real pour. So, anyway. Hey. If they sent me beer, they already watched the video, so they know what they're getting in store for here. So let's put it that way. So first thing you're going to notice is when we think of nitro beer, almost exclusively, we almost think of dark beer. You know, you think of your Guinness, obviously. You think of your Boddingtons. You think of those kind of beers. You don't necessarily think of like a lighter beer, a lighter ale, in the kind of nitro kind of sense. So that in and of itself is kind of cool, to be perfectly honest with you. Get a little cleaned up here. There you go. Look at that. Easy speasy. I have no idea why I did that. So, for what it's worth. Label-wise, it's cool. It's pretty much the Bissel Brothers logo with a little bit of wall behind it. Looks like the subway. Looks like the underground. They're doing the whole, usually it'd be like the underground logo, but the Bissel Brothers. So, I dig it. Beer-wise, definitely looks all the part of a nitro beer. I mean, sans that kind of light-colored ale. Not that you won't get that kind of nitro beer traditionally in Europe or other places and stuff like that. We're just so ingrained to think of these darker beers as being strictly kind of nitro-based beers for a couple reasons and a couple good reasons. Nitronized beer typically curbs a lot of bittering components in beer. So you'll see them with a lot of porter and stout because it'll kind of break down that kind of overly bittering kind of malt and things like that. Lighter beers, you don't see them as much, but like I said, you can see them from time to time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a little whiff off the top because there's no way I'm going to get a proper nose on this beer. Look at the head on that sucker. What I'm thinking is what I'm getting, which is a soft, creamy kind of characteristic to it. Very much like almost like a blonde kind of stout kind of thing going on, because there's some rich maltiness there, almost leaning towards a little bit of toasty kind of cereal grains kind of vibes, and just comes off as a rich, creamy kind of nitro, almost cask pulley. I know they're much markedly different beers, but it's giving you those kind of soft, kind of casky vibes too. Let's just dive in. Cheers. I could drink 7,000 of these. This is delicious. It has that soft cereal grain characteristic, but like I said, that kind of toastiness to it, or an additional toastiness to a kind of cereal grain. It reminds me very much of a beer I've had before, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but you get that super soft, sultry mouthfeel that pretty much only nitro beers can deliver. Beneath that, you get this malt forward, but lighter malt forward. It's almost, like I said, like a blonde stout kind of vibe to it, with this nice, slightly toasted kind of cereal grain malt, with this little bit of sweetness. Really not much as far as bittering goes. There's a lingering kind of bittering on my tongue. I think that is that little bit of maybe hops. I dare to say a little bit of roasted malts, even though it doesn't look like that much of a roasty beer. But that nitro process has kind of dumbed down or pushed down that bitterness and kind of left it to kind of linger on your tongue after you took a sip. It's drinking beer is what it is. And honestly, talking about Bissel Brothers, most people out there, if they're going to kind of talk about Bissel Brothers, they usually go, okay, Swish or Substance, which are two absolutely amazing beers. But their super secret low ABV beer game is pretty ballin'. Baby Genius is 3.2, and that's one of my favorite low ABV beers of all time. And they do a bunch of really great low ABV stuff. And they do stuff outside of the hazy game too, because Baby Genius will be like, okay, that's hazy stuff also. But no, they do things like this, and when I do them, they pretty much do their. It's an Americanized version of it, with the way it kind of comes off for me, and that little bit of toasted cereal grain malt with that little lingering bittering. It comes off. It's very much British vibes to it, but with that little bit of American twist in the way the grains come off and that little bit of bittering that kind of lingers your tongue after that nitro kind of passes by. But they just do fun stuff, and that's why I was pumped to get a little care package, because it's been a while. COVID and stuff like that just couldn't go up, man. I didn't go up the year before last year with COVID. I couldn't travel really at all, so it's kind of one of those things where I was kind of bummed I didn't make my trip up in the Northeast, and it's good to get a little taste of it here, even if it is just at home. So yeah, let's talk about it. It's one of the better kind of nitro beers I've had as of late. Yeah, I can't tell you how many I've had. A bulk of them have probably been kind of the Boddingtons and Guinnesses of the world here and there at barbecues. And by barbecues, I mean outside my own house at a barbecue with nobody around because it's COVID. But it reminds me of Forest and Maney hangs, Bon hangs, that kind of belly up to the bar and drink for the sake of drinking, but also drink for the sake of conversation. I know that's getting a little bit deep, but these are what these beers are made for. That kind of environment and that kind of hangouts and that kind of fun. So it reminds me of that, and it reminds me of a good time. So a little bit of bittersweet. Hopefully we get past this COVID. Hopefully everybody gets on board with the vaccines and all that kind of fun stuff, and we get back to hanging out in the tap room so we can drink 9 pints of these and have a blast. Value and availability, I do not know, but I mean, for the most part, most of Bissel's pricings have always been pretty fair, whether it be at the brewery, I've been there a couple times, to even off a shelf. I can find Substance. They just started distributing in New Jersey. I haven't seen our stuff on the shelves here yet, but I've been in Pennsylvania for a bit over a year now, and I've seen 4 packs of Substance for less than $15, which is quite fair for a beer that great. So I assume this would be much the same, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like just cask ale, pub ale, nitro beer. Again, I know nitro and cask are not the same thing, but again, the vibes of those things. If you dig on those kind of beers, then you'll dig this. So there you go. Massive beer reviews in the books. The epic of pours in the books. No, it's not. Don't do that at home. That's stupid. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Down there, if you want to talk about it, Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massif. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of pub ale right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.